Hello everyone, my name is Mary and today with my brother Alex I'm going to talk about whales. Introduction. Whales. Those colossals, giants, are what we know as the largest animal of all kinds. Let's explore about these giant animals and you can pretty be sure that these are whales. Types of whales. There are about 75 kinds of whales. It's divided into two groups. The toothed whales, that means the whales that have teeth or jaws that have lined with teeth, and baleen whales, which, as you see, do not have teeth. Toothed whales, which include dolphins and porpoises, have jaws lined with sharp teeth. That means they have jaws that is full of sharp teeth that lined together. They eat smaller fishes, squid, and other small sea animals. Some other large toothed whales even eat seals. Okay, so can you see this animal? This weird looking animal is called narwhals. Narwhals are also toothed whales. Male ones have large tusks straight out of their head. This one. This can be up to 8 feet long because it looks so much like a pony and we call it a unicorn whale. Baleen whales. Baleen whales have a special material called baleen. This is called baleen. This baleen thing hangs from their upper jaw. Baleen looks a little like a comb or a giant feather because they're not like kind of hard, and it filters small fish and other small sea life from the sea. And as you can see, this is a baleen whale. Baleen whales feed in different ways. Some feed by moving slowly in the water. That means that they swim slowly in the water and open their mouth. As they do like this, they trap small animals that passes through the baleen filter. Others swallow gulps of water. That means they swallow big gulps of water. Then they split out the water and eat the foods that are left in their mouth. So I guess this is a much faster way of eating. Mostly all kinds of whales live in salt water, but a few live in freshwater rivers, since water makes things buoyant. This means that water makes things float. It helps support the weight of large whales. You can find salt water ones in most of the world's ocean because, it's pretty obvious that the ocean is surrounding the earth. Some migrate to other places to feed and reproduce. They migrate from the North Pole to the South Pole. Some even migrate 1,000 miles just to feed and reproduce. Freshwater ones can be found in certain rivers. That means that these freshwater whales can be found in some rivers. Fun fact. Pink dolphins live in the Amazon River. They have been found more than 1,600 kilometers up the river. And now, my brother Alex will talk the rest.
So, what I'm going to say here is the characteristic of whales. They're mammals. That means they're a pretty high grade. Some people call them a giant fish in ancient literature. But basically, that's not true. They are not fishes, as people often say. They are actually mammals, a pretty high grade animal. Because they are mammals, they don't have gills. That means they cannot filter the air out of the ocean, so they have lungs. Because they have lungs, they have to surface for air, and they don't breathe through nostril because they don't have nostril. Instead, they breathe by blowhole on top of their head. A whale body temperature is about 99 degrees Fahrenheit. That's about 37.2 degrees Celsius. It is actually overwhelming to know that the body temperature of whales are actually pretty similar to us human. It kind of makes me feel more attached to these whales. Next up, we have another characteristic of them is that the female whales give birth to live ones, as observed in most mammals except for hedgehog and platypus. They feed their young with milk from special glands, and the milk is rich in fat. Because it's rich in fat, it is very nutritious. That means from the very start of life, when the baby whales first swim, they are exposed to a lot of nutrient which build them later on to make them look giant as we all see them today. And in fact, a large female can produce from 150 to 600 liters of milk every day. Imagine someone open a whale milk farm. It's big business. Also, whales, they have two very big, large flippers which are paddle shaped. They also have a large fan shaped tail. These parts help the whale swim. They use the flipper to steer, and they use their tail to push them through the water. Actually, also, inside the flipper of whales, there are actually toes and fingers. I mean, I was shocked too, but from the anatomy of a whale, the flippers are not actually made of fish flipper we often see. It's actually toes and finger wrapped around the skin. Next up is the sounds they emitted. The larger whales can make very loud noises, sounds, whatever you prefer to choose, but it doesn't change any fact. They are loud. Some farmer before have recorded whale speaking, and it was giant. Also, the blue whales. Uh, you know that the sounds are measured in decibel. The sound coming from whales are louder than a plane sound, which is about 150 decibel. A blue whale can be heard to the ocean by 16 meter. Actually, this information is a little bit incorrect. This put out the kilo. So now we'll talk about the thick layer of fat. This thick layer is called blubber. The blubber lies beneath the skin. It can be up to 50 centimeter thick. That is about this. And the layer keeps the whales warm in very cold water. They use blubber for energy if the food in their body is scarce. And since the blubber is the lightest part of the body, it prevents the whale body from sinking. So, one thing intriguing me about the whales is that they are actually pretty light for their size. Just think, you see a monstrous piece of a monster that is 20-story tall, but then it only weighs about like 30 school buses. That's pretty light. Imagine if human were on that same ratio, we would weigh much more. But with the whales, they have somewhat made up for their size by their relatively light, for being relatively light. So actually, I think the whales are not fat, as some people use the whale to say for fat people. So now we'll talk about the behavior of the whale. Whales spend much of their time underwater. The whales store lots of oxygen in their blood and muscle. When a whale dies, they slow down their heart, so their metabolism slows down as well. They also use less oxygen, and they go good groups called pods. This one can be related to human. So, scuba diver. The rule for all divers is to have slow breath. With slow breath, you can minimize the amount of air needed. So, some scientists calculated with our normal rate, we would last only 3 minutes underwater. But with scuba diver, then push it up to 10 minutes, even 12 or 15 minutes if they really hold their breath tight. But very sad for the whales, they are threatened. For years, they have been hunted for meat and blubber. We use them to make soap, lamp oil, lipsticks. Because of this, they're becoming extinct. Pollution is also threatening them. So protect the ocean as well as the whale. Thank you very much for listening.